Okay. This is Oliver McCrum, and I am talking with my team and with Stefano Almondo. Stefano is with his family, with his father and his brother and his mother. They are a producer of anise in the Ruero region, which is not far from the Barolo and Barbaresco area. I don't usually say this, but in my opinion, they are the single best producer of anise. They make a very striking mineral, a direct, dry, crisp style of anise that I absolutely love and have been drinking regularly since it came in. And we used to deal with, many years ago, we used to deal with the family winery with Domenico, Stefano's father, and now I'm delighted that we're once again going to be representing your wines in our market. Stefano, tell me a little bit about your family and your family estate.
Yes, allora, the estate was founded in 78. Giovanni was my grandfather, who passed in 2016. In 78, my father founded the estate as it is, giving the name of his father, Giovanni. My father was just got the degree in agronomy. He was 24 and decided to focus on quality wine. He had a couple of hectares of Arnese and Barbera. They had mixed farms, so they had vegetables, fruit, but he decided to focus on wine. The first Arnese was 81, 82, and little by little he started acquiring some parcels in Montà. His project was and is to focus on Roero varieties, so Arnese, Nebbiolo, and Barbera, especially Arnese and Nebbiolo, and to focus in this terroir of Montà, of this village. So we own, at the moment, we own 23 hectares of vineyards in this village. We also have 7 hectares of forest and some orchards and so on. But the idea is to continue the tradition in this village. Recently, we have acquired 5 hectares of vineyards, and they are in Montà. So the project continue with me and my brother, Federico. I am Stefano. I am 36. My brother is 35. His name is Federico. He is an enologist, and my father is agronomist. So they are managing everything in the estate, from the vineyard to the cellar. And with my help, we are running the activity, doing everything on our own. We have 2 guys helping us, but for example, all the pruning is made by us. And needless to say, the vinification, the aging, the bottlings, we have always worked here, me and my brother, since at least 20 years. So we know every plant, we know every corner of vineyard from the beginning of our life. And it's a pleasure. It's enormous. It's a legacy. It's a pleasure to work here. For me, especially because I studied else and decided to work with my family 12 years ago. And another important thing is that now we are organic certified. In 1 year we'll be certified. So we have also very active under that aspect. My father has always practiced sustainable viticulture, but now it's organic certified, so it's something else. The idea of me and my brother is to continue the tradition, but focusing even more on terroir. So Montà has this special soil in the north of the village, that is the highest elevation in Roero, 400 meters, and it is clay and limestone. Clay and limestone, it is rare in Roero. Roero normally is sandy. So we have two groups of vineyard, one in the south of Montà and one in the north. The one in the south part is sandy. The one in the north is clay and limestone. So we can really, we can divide the two productions on two different styles and on two different wines. Typically, sandy soil give you fruitiness, approachability, softness, roundness, while clay and limestone, as you probably know from Barolo or from other Italian regions, give you more minerality, give you more complexity, more energy, and more aging capacity. This is the reason why we divide the two crews, the two group of vineyards, and we make two different styles of Arneis. I tell you Arneis because Nebbiolo is only planted in the south on sand, while Arneis is planted half on sand and half on clay and limestone.
Okay.
The thing to remember is that for Arneis, this is really true. So the sand give you softness, fruitiness, roundness. The clay give you more minerality, more sapidity, salinity, more complexity, and more aging capacity. This is the key to understand our two Roero Arneis, because the classic one, Vigne Sparse, the one you have currently, is from sandy soil. And so it is softer, is more, a little bit more fruitier, Watson fruit, very typical notes of Roero Arneis that are, for example, pear, the white peach, the apricot, while Bricco delle Ciliegie, coming from the highest parcel in Roero and coming from a clay and limestone soil, is more complex, more floral when young, but there is more sapidity, saltiness. I don't know in English how to express this concept. Anyway,
we usually say, I think minerality maybe is the same idea. Saltiness only means you know, sale for food, you know, but maybe mineral, more mineral.
More mineral, yeah. Both the altitude of the site and the composition of the soil give this minerality, this mineral accent to the wine. The vinification is the same. Also, the aging is very similar, because the only difference is that Vigne Sparse is bottled earlier. Bricco Ciliegie is bottled around April, May. Vigne Sparse end of February. But the real difference is the composition of the soil and the altitude. We have always made these two Arneis because from 91, my father has noticed that the Arneis from the south of Montà was different from the one from the north. And so he decided to make two different wines. And if you taste the wines now, you can still notice that there is a difference of terroir. The typical Roero Arneis that wine lovers or passionate know is more similar to Vigne Sparse, probably, because it is a similar Arneis to the other one. I mean the style that are from Canale, from Bezza d'Alba, from Monte Roero, that are our neighbors' villages. Bricco Ciliegie is something on its own, because it is an isolated vineyard completely on itself. We have no neighbors there. It is in the middle of the forest. It is a wild area, but the vines are there from Middle Ages. It's not a new vineyard.
Mhm.
It's a very historic vineyard of Montague, but surrounded by forest. It's similar to when you go to Chianti Classico and you see a lot of forest and suddenly, I don't know, famous vineyard in Chianti.
In the middle of the forest. Yeah.
Esatto. Esatto.
Are there other producers who have vineyards that are clay? You obviously, most of the vineyards for Arnase in the Roero area are sandy, but are there other producers who use clay as well?
There are, especially near Cisterna d'Asti, that is in provincia of Asti, so it's not in Roero, but there are producers in Canale facing to Cisterna. That area is also clayish. It comes to me in mind, for example, Filippo Gallino, if you know the producer. This is the only one that I know that is a bit of clay. Otherwise, the rest is really sand.
Right. And the red wines, these days we think of the Roero as the place where Arnase comes from. But of course, some very interesting red wines are made there as well. What is the classic soil for Nebbiolo in the Roero?
Allora, the classic soil is the sandy soil with limestone. The percentage of limestone is 15% up to 20. The sand is, I would say, 50, 55, 60%.
Okay.
And the result is a very fruity, soft, approachable kind of Nebbiolo with red fruit tones, really that comes out from the glass. So
really
raspberry, strawberry, raspberry, cherry profile. You will taste our Roero 2020. It is more complex because there is also old vines blended. But I would say that the typical description of a Roero Rosso is mid-weight, elegant, red, with no great tannins, average structure, not thin, not Barolo from Serralunga tannin or structure. A little less complexity, but it plays in another category. It plays in a category of Burgundy, of
yes, exactly.
lightness, I would say Pinot Noir style.
I think that makes sense. To me, the Roero Nebbiolo style is rather like Savigny-les-Bains or Mercury in Burgundy. It's an appellation that you don't look to for wines that are very long aging, but they give enormous pleasure in the short and medium term.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with the style that we are practicing in the last 6-7 years. There is big cask and longer maceration.
Yeah.
My father used to use more oak, more barrique, and a shorter maceration. My brother, on the other side, in the last 5, 6, 7 years, is practicing 1 month maceration and 1.5 years big cask aging. This give a softer and more approachable wine, less structured, less tannic, probably less also capable of aging 25 years like my father was doing. My father, Bricvaldiana, is drinking very beautiful now at like vintages like 06, 05, 04. I don't know if my brother's Bricvaldiana will arrive at 20 years of age. I don't think. I think that in the short and mid-term, they are giving a lot of play.
Yes, I think you're making the right decision. I think that for Nebbiolo, for my taste, personally, the traditional method gives more fascinating flavors, and the texture also of the wine, the structure of the wine, I think is very much improved. What is the minimum aging for the red wine legally? It's much less than 18 months, I imagine.
It's 1 year.
1 year. And you do 18 months.
We do 18 months on both Roero Classico and Bricca Valdiana. So they have the same age. The difference is only the time of maceration. So the Roero 2020 or also previous vintages have around 14 days of maceration, while the Valdiana has 1 month. So this is the only difference.
Okay. Tell me how the white wines are made exactly.
Yeah. Allora, we press at the grape arrive in little crates at 20 Celsius, so refrigerated 1 night. So we press cool fruit. We make a very soft pressure up to 1 bar, no more than 1.1, 1.2 bars, so very soft. The juice is fermented in stainless steel. The fermentation usually, allora, for Vigne Sparse, it's selected yeast. For Bricco delle Ciliegie is some tank selected, some tanks spontaneous. And the fermentation lasts around 20-25 days. Then the wine is racked. There is no fermentation, so the wine stays until March with a couple of racking in total. Then around February we make the cuvée. So it means that the tanks, because the vineyards are vinified separate, both for Vigne Sparse and Bricco Ciliegie. Bricco Ciliegie is the same, is one vineyard, but we vinify separately: east face, east side, south and west, and top of the hill. In February we make the blend, or January, late January, we make the cuvée between among the tanks, and we wait 1 more month of aging. Then we make the first bottlings of Vigne Sparse. So the aging and vinification is only in stainless steel. With minimum intervention, so a couple of rackings, almost no batonnage. I would say 1 batonnage per month. It depends on the lees. Anyway, the wine stays on fine lees for all its aging. The last bottling is in May, so the last bottling stays 10 months on fine lees, with minimum batonnage and no racking. No racking. That's it.
And one of the things that always impressed me about your wines is that they're very dry and clean in style. And Arnase has a commercial history of a number of wines being made with a fair amount of residual sweetness, but your family has decided to be completely dry and to emphasize the mineral character of the grape.
Yeah, this really describes the style of my father, vinification and Arnase, and also my brother. This is typical. We have 0.2 grams of sugar, so nothing. This is to emphasize the minerality and freshness. My father started in this style back in time, and we continue on that line. Even if I see many producers following that rule, it was more common in the 90s and 2000, early 2000s to have more sugar. But still nowadays, some producers continue on that line, and we continue to be dry. We prefer the dry style because we like the freshness, the drinkability, this sensation of not flabbiness, not tiring taste. that is in Arnese, that can be in Arnese.
Yes, and it's very much to my taste too. As I mentioned earlier, since the wine has arrived, I've been drinking it frequently, and I very much enjoy it. You also have a small sort of brew of ciliegie as well, right? Which we don't have yet, but we will have at some point. There's a what is it? Riva del Bricco delle Ciliegie.
Esatto. Le Rive, it's a project that we started in 2014. It is the oldest part of Bricco Ciliegie vineyard, and is the part of the vineyard that my family has always owned from the beginning. It was the vineyard near the original the farm where my father was born in 1954. There was only a third of an hectare of vineyard of Arnese planted in the 60s, and that parcel still exists. It's really in the center of the vineyard, and we have decided to vinify it separately. We make out 3,000 bottles. Today we have bottled the 21 vintage. We made 3,500 bottles out of this parcel. Vines have 60 years, and it's all cultivated by hand because it's too steep to go with machineries and tractor. So it is extra work, and the yield is very low. But it is not an Arnese Riserva. It's Roero Arnese simply, and it doesn't see any oak. It's only stainless steel. It's just 1 year, so some months more on fine lees without batonnage, and that's it. We bottle it in August normally, and it's more complex. It's long aging Arnese. I saw Michele asked how long Arnese can age. Allora, to answer that question, Le Rive can age 10, 12 years. Bricco Ciliegie, I have some 06, 08, 10 bottles, vintage 10, or also 13 that are really, really good now. So that vineyard is really particular, can give wine long aging. In general, Arnese grape is not great for aging, especially on sandy soil, especially planted on sand. On clay and limestone, it is a different thing. I would give 10 to 15 years in very good vintages.
So when you were to go back to the way that the Arnese is made, you pick the grapes and then keep them in a cold storage overnight. Is that correct? So they have a form of maceration kind of before the grapes are pressed. They're left to sit for 8 or 10 hours in a cold room. Is that correct?
Allora, there is no maceration because the grape is picked.
It's not pressed before, I understand.
It's not pressed. It stays cool because we want to avoid any kind of organic process like starting of fermentation or other processes that oxidate the fruit. So we keep it cool just to have the best fruit as possible, entire, not touched, really not pressed, because the crates are 18 kilos each. It's not the beans, the big beans that everybody uses. It's a Barolo kind of work. Little crates, no pressure, no. If you see the bunches, they're really perfect, untouched.
Sure.
We don't want any maceration for our Arnese. It's really not in our style, because we don't believe that the phenolics of the maceration, Arnese doesn't benefit in our style of Arnese from maceration.
Understood. You on your website, you talk about some work that you're doing with a university to identify is it a clone of Arnese that you will be using, or a massal selection?
we have made a mussel selection through the oldest plants of Roero in general, all the appellation. Me and my brother, we started 9 years ago. We walked the oldest vineyards, and not only ours, but also other producers. And we collected the material for making this mussel selection. Then, with the help of the university, we could identify 4 clones, old clones that were great for quality Arnese. And we started with the university making a little vinification of 200 liters each. So it's a very careful and particular kind of job. We make a meeting every year in this room with the university teachers and with the best producers of Roero. We taste blind these 4 clones, and next year we will release an official clone after all this research and micro vinification. So 9 years of work, and next year there will, or the year after, there will be the official plant, the official I don't know what to say.
Introduction of the new.
Yeah, it's an old plant that proved to be the best for both viticulture and the taste of the wine.
Okay.
So it will be a new clone that the university will release and will diffuse to all the nurseries around Italy.
Okay. And so many different producers are benefiting from this research.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, because this clone will be great for sand, will be great for climate change, because it's the most suitable to this period of, and not the 70s, because the previous clone was suited to the 70s. This one is on a research based from 2013 to 22. So it's really a clone that gives the best quality now.
Right.
And everybody can buy this from the nurseries around.
Yes.
And this clone in his new vineyards.
Yes.
And we're doing the same also for Bracchetto del Roero. That is another indigenous grape. And so we're also starting this for Bracchetto del Roero.
on a less strictly commercial note, yeah.
Yeah, it's Bracchetto del Roero. I think in total will be around 100,000 bottles, so going around. But Arnese is 8 million, so there will be more involvement. With Bracchetto del Roero, it's really a niche, but we like this, you know.
Yeah.
It's
right.
It's a way to amuse ourselves
and to improve the overall quality of Roero Arnese, which I think you know, we in English we say a rising tide floats all boats. Quando la marea si alza, tutte le barche flottano. And I think it's really good for you if the overall quality of Roero Arnese is improving.
Yeah, I already see people looking for this new clone, and so I would think that, of course, it's a quality niche of producer. So it's not all the Arnese you find on the market. It's just the best producers. But it's the first step. Then the other will follow, I'm sure.
Yes. You said that you bought a new vineyard recently. Tell us about the new vineyard. Is that for Arnese?
3 hectares Arnese and 1.5 Nebbiolo and half Barbera.
And that's going to be sandy soil?
Yeah, it's going to be Vigne Sparse already in 21 vintage and 2020 vintage, because we bought it in March 2020. So we harvested the 20 and the 21 and from now on. So it will be in the Vigne Sparse 21 and 20, and in the Barbera from 20, and Langhe Nebbiolo and Roero Rosso from 20 vintage, 2020.